Good morning. We are going to do a recap on my learning curve, switching to a new flour for my sourdough. So before, I used all-purpose flour, unbleached, from the store. And then I purchased stoneground organic flour from a somewhat local mill, hour and a half away, so I'm going to call that local. And this, you could just see the difference, the richness of this flour. 13.5% protein, which is a higher protein content apparently. So a stiffer, sturdier, stronger bread loaf or flour. So learning from videos that I've watched and reading, you change the flour, you're going to change how it processes, how it goes through the sourdough journey and fermentation, etc. So my plan was repeat the process that you've been using all along so that you can make a good assessment of what the difference is, because if you change a whole bunch of things, you're going to learn nothing. So I went back to square one and followed the same process that I've been using all along. So loaf number one, I had fed my starter with the new flour, and I fed it twice in the day, last one at night, so that it would be doubled by the morning to make loaf as I usually do. And it came together so beautifully. The gorgeous smooth ball of dough was like, I made that. I didn't really make that. The flour and water made that, and the yeasts, but I helped. So that loaf, I followed the same schedule that I've been using all along from the Elaine Body's Sourdough Whisperer book. And I did like a nine hour proof, and it just didn't look any different. You can see like all these big bubbles. I shaped it and I put it in the fridge, baked it the next morning, and the loaf, it was somewhat flatter, like it didn't rise into this big bubble of bread, but it looked beautiful. There was cracks on the coming out of the scoring, which was weird. I haven't figured that one out yet. But it was yummy. And I know the nutritional difference between that stone ground flour and unbleached white flour from the store is like night and day. Yeah, good choice. So day two, fed the starter again at night. And this time I'm going to babysit that bulk fermentation to catch it right, because I didn't want to overproof it again, which is what I thought I had done. But as I watched it every hour from that 8 hour, 9 hour, 10 hour, 11 hour, I realized I hadn't overproofed that first loaf. I had underproofed it. So this one I went an extra 2 hours, so it was 11 hours, and I'm confident it still wasn't long enough. I'm not a nighttime person, so I get shaped and into the fridge. Next morning, it held its shape beautifully, baked. I still had some cracks coming out of that scoring line, which again, I still don't know what that means. But it was a much taller loaf, like it was, I'm getting close. And delicious, and so much healthier than the unbleached all-purpose flour. That takes us today with loaf number 3. And for this one, I said, okay, we need to lighten up that flour. So I mixed in, I don't know, about a third, I guess, of spelt flour that I had also purchased from the stoneground mill, which, yay! So working with that dough, you could definitely see it rise better, more. Working with it a little looser in, the stretch and folds. I still went 11 hours. I was going to go longer. Got tired. So into the oven it went this morning. And here is my loaf. Part spelt flour. Still a little crack there. Don't know what that means. and mostly the daily bread stone ground flour. Okay, so Ms. Ella, my sourdough starter, I have been feeding it at night so that it's ready in the morning to make my bread. But today, I'm getting smarter. I fed it this morning so that it will be ready to start the process this afternoon, so that it can long ferment overnight while I'm sleeping, so it can get longer than that 11 hours, so I can hopefully get a full fermentation process before I shape it. Brilliant, just slow.